Hope you can hear me. 1 second. I'm going to plug in this phone, this mic, so that I can sound better. Hopefully I sound better. So I wanted to do a quick live and kind of just check in, do a spiritual check-in with you guys and see how you guys are doing for the week and connect with you guys and offer some support just by showing up and being present and giving you my energy. So, I don't really have a topic for today. I just wanted to, hopefully you can hear me. 1 second. I just finished eating, so I'm trying not to make any noise when I'm moving the plates around and all that good stuff. So yeah. So hopefully you can hear me nice and clear, and I'm gonna turn up the volume here too on my laptop, and yeah, we can get into the rest of the video. So like I said, I don't really have a topic. So if I'm kind of silent here and there, it's because I'm processing and I'm thinking about what it is I want to offer you in this stream, in this live stream, and how I can hold space for you. So yeah, so I wanted to do a spiritual check-in because I think it's important that we take time out of our week, our day, to be able to connect with ourselves and see what's going on and see how we're feeling and check in with ourselves to see where we're at with just how we feel about ourselves, what we see going on within our lives, within ourselves. I know that I've been doing this, well, I do this a lot in general just because I'm very introspective and I'm very reflective and I'm very conscious of kind of measuring where I'm at with myself on a day-to-day basis, emotionally, mentally, and physically. And just because I'm a spiritual artist, I tend to take several times out of the day to check in with myself spiritually, to connect and align myself, and to connect with God, and to align with myself, and to align with God, obviously. So whenever I'm not in a good place mentally, I step out of my comfort zone. I step out of what it is that I'm doing in order to spend time with God, in order to utilize my gifts and my skill sets, to pray and to work through some internal battles that I might be having with myself or with the current status of my life or the current state of my life. So like I did that yesterday. I tend to do that frequently. And what that looks like is just kind of stepping away from anything that's distracting my attention, stepping away from work, stepping away from laptops, stepping away from my cell phone, and just going into my sacred space and praying. And when I pray, it's usually more conversational. And sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's just silence, just sitting in silence and this in stillness. And I wanted to ask if you're doing that for yourself. Are you able to take time out of your day in moments where you feel overwhelmed, where you feel stressed, or when you're feeling just not good, when you're not feeling good about yourself? Are you taking that moment to say, okay, I need to step away from what I'm doing? I need to just create space for myself right now and be still and be silent and just breathe. And I'm not talking about breath work because there's also that, but just to sit and listen to your heartbeat, just to sit and listen to the way that you're breathing, just to sit and be with your body and experience your body, the way that blood moves through your body, the way your mind works, the thoughts that you have without judging them, without criticizing them, without trying to find an answer, just sitting and not thinking and not creating a story and not doing anything. I really want to say not doing a damn thing. Um, so that's what spiritual, I want to say that's what spiritual check ins look like for myself. Um, so, how can you utilize your time? How can you show up for yourself and and step aside from the day-to-day, um I want to say the day-to-day hassles of life, like the washing the dishes, the cooking, the cleaning, the the going to work, the going to meetings? How can you step away from that and really honor your being, honor just being with yourself without having to need anything or to focus on anything? Um, and also just communicating with God and, excuse me, I just ate. Communicating with God and really realigning your spirit back to Him, back to the center of who you are, which is spirit, which is divine, which is divinity. And for me, so I guess I want to share with you, like, what do I get out of doing this? So once, so like, okay, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I was really having a hard time with where I'm at in life and what life looks like for me right now, and the fact that I'm not happy with the way my life is at this point in time. And when I get like that, I have to stop the cycle of my thoughts and go into my sacred space. And sometimes it's not my sacred space, it's also my closet. Like, I will go into my closet and I will just sit there and I will just kind of take in everything that I have in my closet that represents everything that means something to me. Um, and I'll just be in a space where I feel safe and where I feel enclosed in, and I can really speak to God in my closet as well. So, my closet is also my prayer closet. My sacred space is also my sacred sanctuary. It's where I go to commune and communicate and connect with God. So when I'm in these two spaces, and also just lying on my bed, that's the third space, and also the kitchen is a fourth space. so funny. I think in the kitchen that's when God talks to me, but in my closet and in my sacred space, that's where I talk to God. But on my bed and in my kitchen is where God talks to me. That's how I tend to notice. Um, that's how I tend no. That's how I tend to receive. In this moment, I'm realizing that that is how I receive feedback from God. Is that when I'm on my bed, I ask questions and I get answers. And then when I'm in my kitchen, I'm not speaking, I'm just present and I'm listening. And so that's when God speaks to me. And then when I'm in my closet or my sacred space, my spiritual altar, that's where I speak to God and I'm in conversation with God. And I really don't always get answers, but I'm able to just freely express myself. So, um, shoot, I lost my train of thought on what it is that I was saying before. Just reflecting back on my my way of doing spiritual check-ins, which is that my experience from yesterday's spiritual check in was that I was having a hard time. I needed to break the cycle of my thoughts. I went to my sacred altar space and I started praying. I started expressing how I was feeling. And when I pray, it's not really prayer, it's more like a conversation. I'm expressing my feelings, good, bad, ugly, and different. I'm expressing my emotions, if I'm upset, if I'm sad, if I'm happy. It's so funny. I really don't express it that actually that's not true. I do express joy. Um, but yeah, so whatever the gambit of emotions are, I'm able to freely just be myself. Um, and so what happens is that I will say how I feel. I will express a question. I will ask a question, and I will wait in silence to receive um, thoughts or um, feelings, um, and those feelings, these answers tend to be feelings of support. They tend to be feelings of um, peace, and I may not always get an answer, but it's so funny. I still I may not audibly get an answer, but I still get an answer through feelings. I still get an answer through emotions. And there's a point where that conversation comes to an end. And after I've left the conversation, I feel so much more at peace. I feel so much more aligned. Um, because, like, when I go into space with God, or when I go into these spaces with God, I tend to go in feeling confused. I tend to go in feeling upset. I tend to go into the spaces where I converse with God just unsure or having insecurities or questioning things or having doubt or being upset, whatever it is, just not feeling my, just not feeling like myself. And once I express like everything, all the burden that's on my spirit, and I go through the process of asking questions and waiting to hear, sitting in silence and waiting to hear back. I It's a journey of releasing, and it's a journey of um finding solace in the unknown, finding safety within myself and safety in my relationship with God. So, all of this, as the conversation winds down or closes out, coming out of coming out of um, this this interaction with God, I tend to have a sense of peace. I tend to have a sense of everything's going to be okay. And I'm no longer worried. There's no more worry on my plate. And I tend to feel full and filled with the Spirit of God, just guiding me and standing by me, if that makes any sense. Um, so yeah, so I I wanted to share that with you so that you can get a sense or an understanding of what it looks like to truly experience God, what it looks like to truly create um, a, a peace or a sense of, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but what it truly looks like to create time to give to God and what it looks like to create time to give to yourself. So, what it really looks like to check in with yourself and to check in with where you're at um, when you're carrying a burden or when you're carrying heaviness based on life circumstances or struggles that you might be dealing with. What it looks like when you get answers, what it looks like when you receive clarity in silence and clarity in stillness. Um, because, like, the word, and I'm not religious, I'm spiritual and I'm a faith based person. And I do have the foundation of Christianity, and I still live by these foundational teachings. So for me, I still go by the word of God, and the word calls us to be still and to know that God is God. And doing that allows me to receive um, discernment, and it allows me to receive answers and communication and conversation with God. So if you allow yourself to be still and sit in stillness and communicate your needs, spirit, whatever you believe in, spirit, God, the divine, the universe will always speak to you in some form. It may not always be words, and it may not always be feelings. Mm, I don't know if that's true. I think it will always be a sense of a feeling, a sense of calm, a sense of direction. You'll know what direction to take. God always answers. Yeah. So I just wanted you to have some sort of a notion of what spiritually checking in with yourself can look like. It can also be just getting a glass of water to drink and taking a breath and then getting back on track with whatever it is that you're doing. But I implore you to go a little further and go a little deeper and um, really challenge yourself to do the work. It could also just look like laying down on your bed, closing your eyes, and just like literally putting your arm over your eyes, closing your eyes, and just taking a few deep breaths, a few deep breaths, and letting it be that. You don't have to say anything, you don't have to ask anything, you don't have to be anything. And that is a form of checking in with yourself spiritually. That is a form of taking care of yourself spiritually. That is also a form of being there for yourself and doing self care. I'm a little bit more extra just because I like to go the extra mile. Um, and I really do have a deep connection and maybe an intricate connection with God, an intricate and detailed connection to the way that I like to communicate with divine, divine energy. Um, so that's it for this evening. I hope that this video reaches someone and connects with someone on a level that allows you to um, do the work. Start practicing spiritual check ins with yourself, spiritual self care, and start opening the path and the door to building a deeper relationship with yourself and understanding yourself in a way that allows you to love yourself from the God view perspective of who you are. I'm Addie Tormajek, and this is the Inner Experience, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.